Hello everyone, welcome back to our Mudbox 2017 series. We've been working on this StoneBridge. So in this lesson we're going to build in the rocks that kind of make up this tunnel part of the bridge. So building out rocks seems like it should be fairly simple and straightforward, and it pretty much is, but creating something like this, there does come in different types of difficulties and things you have to consider as you're building in. So this is the picture we've been working off of. Again, I'm going to probably include this in my online YouTube description. Go ahead and probably just pull up my Dropbox. So we need these thicker kinds of rocks that are very angular. So I'm going to use my wax brush to kind of build in a lot of this, and then I'm going to probably use my flatten brush to kind of dig out some of these details. So, and it doesn't have to look exactly like that. I'm just kind of using that as a base, like I said before. So building on my my level 6, I'm going to create another layer. This one's going to be tunnel rock big. Okay, make sure you're on the right layer. That way, if you don't like it, you can always reduce it. Okay, let's go over to wax. Okay, and right now it's set at 0.5, which isn't enough. Let's do 1. Let's turn mirroring on the X. That way we don't have to do this twice. One on each side. We just do it on one side. Okay. We're going here. We're just going to start to draw in some of this. Okay. Smooth some of this out. It's a little bit janky in there. Just hold down shift and just run over the outside of this guy until smooth some of this out. What's happening while you're having some of these strange looking parts that's coming out is just because I'm getting close to the edge and Mudbox is trying to, I don't really like it, so I'm going to back it up. I don't like that build in came in too much. Okay, let's bring this down to, let's say 0.8. Let's turn on a stamp to kind of feather some of this in. Okay, maybe let's see about go to our advanced reset on this guy. Let's see if oriented surface works. Oriented surface make it to where here, as I'm going around here, it'll rotate around based on the surface angle normals. Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, looks a lot better. Still way too intense though. So let's bring this went up to 15. Let's bring this down to again. Let's say at 1. Okay, that's better. Maybe 3. Okay, that's good. Okay. Like that. Trying to stay away from going over those grooves I created. Okay. That's good. I'm just going to keep moving on. Add some bulk in here. My brush a little smaller. Okay. Smooth out some of these spots. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and bring in some more over here. Let's smooth that out. the stamp on there. Let's see how that looks. Let's move that a little bit more. We'll add this in here. There we go. I think for some reason this cloud thing here got turned off, so I was moving that texture that I was trying to get in on it. Okay. Okay. You're working on sculpts, you gotta constantly, and this is like we're right now we're trying to dance around this topic a little bit, but right now we're really dealing with something very primitive, but the same kind of principle is the same with any kind of sculpt really, and that is that as you're sculpting, since we're so close, you gotta constantly zoom out and see how it's looking, and see if you're close to the mark or if you're getting off. So it might look really good up close, and you get it out of ways, you're like, eh, that's quite what I was after. Okay, add some more right there. That's good. Good. Okay. Don't want to smooth out too much or I'll lose that surface detail that I'm trying to create. Go back and edit it back in later, but best I can to not do that. Okay, let's look okay. Okay. And at the top here, I remember I did break the symmetry by going and intentionally made each part with a symmetrical in the center so it didn't look weird in some regards. And so I probably need to. Oh, look at that! I didn't. When I reset the tool, turned the variant off. Oh, that's too bad. That means I have to go in and actually do it by hand all the way around. Oh, my mistake. I know this may feel a little bit tedious, but this is all just good learning experience. You'll find areas where you're like, oh yeah, I know what I can do in this area, and you'll revisit this repetitive texturing process we're doing right now, and see that there's some application in other areas that you might be sculpting on. Just be another tool in your box, and since you've done it so many times, like I'm about to do, to go all the way around this guy. Should feel very comfortable with pulling it back out and reusing it in different projects. So I'm going through the motions here, and some things I don't really necessarily, I just do intuitively. So if I'm happen to be just doing something and that you guys see me go through some kind of anything here really that seems unclear that I don't explain, I might presume I've already said, just leave a comment below I'll get to those as soon as I can. Sometimes I have students that'll come in and answer questions for some of the comments on my channel, which is helpful for me. I appreciate that. Alright, let's see. I would like to add some music in here since I'm not talking, but I have had experience on my other videos where I've added music, and when I decide I want to talk, you guys can't hear me. So you get to suffer through the awkward silence while I just go ahead and sculpt. This little cloudy brush tends to do really good for sculpting these, adding in clay and kind of giving this look of stone as we're piping in. Kind of takes some of the work out of the bags for the surface detail we'll have to add in at the end. This video seems to be running a little bit long. This is because I forgot to turn the mirroring on, so my apologies again on that one. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these videos more around 10 minutes, but it looks like I'm going to be going just over 15 minutes on this one. Now I'm at the 13 mark. Yeah, I might go for the 15. Let's see, almost done. Alright, let's zoom out and see what we got going on here. Actually, looks pretty decent. Okay with that. If you want to throw in some more of the angular looks on this, for some of these rocks, you can always go back. I'm not going to do this because we're at almost 15 minutes, but just to show you how there's some other tools you can go in here. You can use the flatten tool and just flatten out some of these areas on one side, and then go to the other and flatten out as well over here. And then you can use like the pinch brush and like well, I guess the pinch isn't enough right now because it's not tight. Pinch works really good on like areas like in here. Pinch not working. I'm still flatten, that's why it's not working. Pinch, there we go. So you can rub it over the top here and it'll draw a nice sharp edge there if you're wanting to kind of make your rock have a little bit more of a sharp angle in some spots. You can do some of that work. But there's so many boulders that are inside here that I'm not going to have time to kind of go over and do all that. That would just be very tedious unless I want to do a time lapse on this, which I'm not going to do right now. Maybe later. Now, if you look on the inside here, if you create your own base mesh or you just borrowed mine, you'll see there's all these lines here. You can go ahead and smooth these all out fairly quickly. I would just go and hold down the shift key and just on the inside here and hold down shift. Also go ahead and save since we've been working a little bit now. Let's go ahead and make sure we update what we're working on. Sometimes Mudbox crashes since it's got so much polygons working with. Oh, we're still in pinch. Dang it. Alright, let's go to smooth. Okay. For some reason, that's not one of the smooth. It was earlier. Apparently, it's stubborn now. Okay. Let's go ahead then and just turn on wax. Put it on 0.5. Turn off the stamp here. Just add a little bit of clay to the inside here. So it's way too much. Let's back that off. Alright, well we're over 15 minutes. I'm gonna have to come back to dealing with the inside here on the next lesson. I was thinking it was going to be just a quick fix. I've done this before where I just smoothed it out, but apparently my box is being stubborn right now, so I'll have to figure out where I'm getting snagged on it, and then I'll pull it back in next lesson. So we'll fix the inside of the tunnel, smooth that out, and then we'll go ahead and start adding some of the rock texture to the top up here as well, and then begin texturing the outside of this between the tunnel and the railing on the top. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.